Captioning is brought to you by Aaron Saxon Associates.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, several grass fires occurred over the weekend, including one that forced the evacuation of one Webb City neighborhood.
Also, residents in Arma enjoyed some soups and desserts, and all for a good cause.
And take a look at this. We've got a beautiful looking start to the day. It is breezy, it is going to be warm, and it is going to be cloudy ahead of some changes in our forecast. We'll take a look at all of that coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
Bye. It's been a pleasure being with you this morning. I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 o'clock on this
bring it back.
Monday.
Bring it back.
People don't want to look at me anyway. Over the course of the last 2 years, I've done this show enough. People are done looking at me, I think. The camera, that's the thing. Is for those of you at home may not recall, we got robotic cameras. And I think even the camera is tired of looking at me.
The signs are here, Chris.
It's time for me to go. It's been a pleasure. I guess I'll just take some time off, whatever the case may be.
God.
Well, if you haven't noticed, which the camera certainly has, we have a new addition to the morning show. It's Elise Noe. Now, she's been our weekend anchor for a little bit, been reporting out in the field. Now joining us in the comfortable, really cold, climate-controlled studio. Yeah, these chairs aren't bad. We're actually getting new ones soon. Oh, I'm looking forward to the new ones. Well, Elise is going to share a little bit more about herself with you.
Elise Noe enjoys pursuing her passions.
You just got to have patience with yourself and patience with the ingredients that you're working with.
Baking is one of them.
I think following instruction is one of them.
She says sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't. A lot like life.
Ingredients for a good life, I think, is having your passion, having something that gets you out of the bed in the morning. I think your relationships and the people that you surround yourself with are a pretty good ingredient. Your sprinkles on top can be your TV or your puzzles or your books, and so you passion, your people, and then your relaxation time.
Those ingredients have served her well as she navigates life, achieving her dreams along the way. As a homeschooled 11-year-old, she set her sights on the Miss Kansas USA crown. In 2022, it was hers.
This was the crown. I really wanted to represent Kansas. Like I said, I love Kansas. My roots are deep here. When I had the opportunity to compete in 2022, it was everything to me. And having that opportunity to win and then represent Kansas on the Miss USA stage was it was a dream come true.
There was a time in her young life when a health scare cast a shadow on her future.
No one knew what was wrong. I was in and out of the ER almost every single week, not knowing what was wrong. It was just a really hard time because my parents thought that I could die.
For several months, debilitating pain left her dreams in question. Trips back and forth to the Mayo Clinic ultimately solved the medical mystery. And it was her time in isolation, spent rooting for the Denver Broncos during a Super Bowl winning season, that inspired her dream to be a broadcaster.
And I was just amazed by the female reporters and the job that they did. And whether it was, news, whether it was sports, whether it was entertainment, I knew that I wanted to do that. If I could get out of bed and if I could feel better, that was something that I wanted to do.
A degree in journalism from KU helped to open the door to the KOAM newsroom and a new passion.
And some students at Columbus High School are
I
showing
think
off
there's,
their role.
no greater thing than human connection and storytelling, and that's really why I wanted to get into journalism in the first place, was to tell people stories.
Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, Shannon.
She now pursues that passion as the new anchor of KOAM Morning News.
I'm just really humbled and really fortunate. I would have never imagined in the 8 months that I've been here, starting my career here at KOAM, that be able to wake up with the four-state community and to be invited into their home as they're getting ready for their day. I'm excited to hopefully be a welcoming face, a happy face that they see in the mornings, even when we're covering tough stories. I want to be a reliable, trustworthy person that they can always count on.
Elise credits her parents, her mentors, and the people in her life with her success. Some of the sprinkles she talks about that add so much meaning to life.
I just want to make them proud of me, and I think the best way to do it is to continue to live a fruitful and successful life in the best way possible.
Well, welcome to
Thank
the
you,
KOA
Chris.
Morning. This is your third day, though,
My
of doing
third
this,
day,
so
yes.
it's still an adjustment process.
Just a little bit. It's definitely feeling like a Monday today, but I've loved it here, and it's been so fun, and I just can't wait to keep going.
You know what's kind of weird is both of us were the weekend news anchor, and now
Yes.
both of us are on the KOA Morning News.
Look at us.
Apparently, the weekend's the pathway to
The
the morning
weekend
show.
is the pathway.
Apparently
Don't tell
something.
Anthony. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right. don't let anybody else over there know this, but it is a possibility.
Secrets out. Yes. All right. Thanks, Chris.
Well, we've got an absolutely decent day across the. That sounded worse than what I thought, but it's going to be a pretty good day. It's going to be warm. It's
Yes.
going to be breezy. Again, for folks like you, that's a problem. You got a lot of hair, long hair.
Don't talk to me
I
about
know.
it right now.
Right, but for me,
Right,
not
home
an
can be
issue
rough.
at all. Let's take a quick look outside from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. You can see the clouds increasing out there across the area, and it is going to continue to do so. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. Got a nice shield of clouds out to the west as we are quickly going mostly cloudy. There's the boundary from a cold front that's going to bring us some thunderstorm chances late tonight, mainly along and to the east of the 69 corridor. This morning, though, south winds are still gusting out there, upwards of 30. They could even push 40 miles an hour today. And even though we don't have any red flag warnings or fire weather watches out there today, still don't recommend any outdoor burning just because it could still spread very quickly out there with these gusty winds. Low to mid 60s except for Monette and Cassville, still holding out in the upper 50s. So not significantly off pace with everyone else, but a pinch cooler. Mostly cloudy, breezy through the day into the afternoon. The winds let up a bit this evening as that front gets closer, and then just outside the range of the day planner is where those thunderstorm chances begin to roll in. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast, talk about tonight's storms and some other rain chances this week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right. Thanks, Chris. Well, first responders in Webb City, Missouri evacuated a neighborhood Saturday night because of a fast-moving grass fire. Fire crews responded to the Robin Ridge neighborhood around 11 p.m. as the fire was near Gene Hadfield Drive. Webb City police went door to door to evacuate residents as the fire crews battled the blaze. No one was injured. A fence and the siding of one home was damaged. Authorities are investigating the cause of the fire. Fire broke out at a rural racing home just before 4 a.m. Gusting winds pushed the fire so quickly the roof collapsed as fire departments were arriving. The family got out safely, but everything was consumed by the fire. The Red Cross assisted in aiding the family overnight. Friends of the family have organized an online fundraiser. It's included in our article at KOAMnewsnow.com. Local runners Sunday enjoyed the spring-like weather with a Joplin Memorial Run. Attendees were able to run the 5K, 10K, and half marathon courses throughout the Joplin area.
So I heard it was the last year they were doing it, and I needed an excuse to get out and get in shape and actually do some physical activity. So hearing as it was the last one they were going to do, I figured I'd be a part of Joplin history and come out and participate as much as I can.
Officials say Joplin Memorial Run will only host one more run in May. Visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com, for details about the courses and rules of the run. The community of Arma hosted an inaugural vegetable beef soup feed. The purpose of the event was to help support the Arma Golden Era Senior and Community Center. Attendees were able to enjoy some soup and choose from a variety of homemade desserts.
We want them to know that they need to support an activity like this so that they have a place to come and gather. Arma is lacking a little bit of spots to be able to have family gatherings and social events. So by supporting this, then they support a community building so that they have a place to go.
The event had more than 20 sponsors. The community center is also planning for a pop-up shop on April 20th. And those are our top stories at the top of the hour. Up next, Lori Horton continues to share her recipe for lemon meringue cookie cups. But first, let's see a live look at downtown from downtown Parsons.
Only at Band.
This looks better than half the dishes come out of my dad's restaurant.
MasterChef Junior premieres tonight on Fox.
Well, welcome back. Lori has been showing us her recipe for a lemon meringue cookie cup. All right, Lori, we left off mentioning the last step, and what do we do next?
So we started out with just our pre-made sugar cookie base. So again, I just used even the pre-cut, ready to go sugar cookies. So simple, really portioned perfectly for our mini cupcake containers. I know, they're just right. When you press those down into the baking tin just a little bit, they really come out with a good divot in there. If they really puff up on you a little too much, and sometimes depending on the weather they can, you can just use the back of your cookie scoop while they're warm out of the oven and give that just a little press. The only thing, and I did this accidentally yesterday on a couple of mine, be careful, don't press it in and make a hole, because then your lemon filling is going to seep out. So that doesn't look very pretty.
Just like the back of a cookie scoop, perfect.
Just the back of that fits in there just right. So these are nice and cool. We sprayed that pan well so they lift out very easily, but you'll see they're nice and light on the bottom. They're just a little bit golden on those outer edges. So we want to keep it really light, and just think of this, it's just a sugar cookie, no different, just the shape is how we baked it. So our next step is going to be that filling, and what I've got is a lemon curd, and a little bit different than just a pie filling.
And what makes it different?
So lemon curd, or any type of a fruit curd, is much smoother than a pie filling or a pudding or a jam, because it's really only made with the juice of the fruit to start with. You don't put the whole fruit in there and cook it down, just the juice, and it typically will have butter and eggs, whereas a jam wouldn't have butter or egg yolks in that. So it's just a little different, but it makes it really smooth, really flavorful with that fruit.
It looks so good.
And
even in the
this,
jar,
I know, this cookie scoop is the perfect size to then in turn just go through, and it just kind of perfectly portions that into our little cups. And you can be as generous with that as you want and really fill it. The nice part with this is also not quite as stiff as like a pie filling. So when you go to bite into this, you're going to have your nice crisp cookie bottom, a smooth creamy filling on that.
It's not too sticky just coming out of that cookie scoop. You don't have to fight it or anything.
It works so well, and you know, it keeps it in place. You could do this with a spoon, but it's a little bit harder to keep it kind of placed that way. So this is the perfect size. It just gets it right where you want it and kind of keeps it. That way, when we put our meringue topping on there, it's not going to try to overrun that or make a mess. So
just the perfect little bite size.
And these little jars are about enough for the 24 that we have in there. Now, this is not a economical way to do it, shall we say. So you can make a homemade lemon curd as well. Again, it's just lemon juice, butter, eggs, a little bit of sugar, and that's
difficult is it to make just for the...
It's not. It's a little time consuming because you do have to cook it slowly, generally on a double boiler, so that it goes slow.
Price. It's just whatever you want to do.
Exactly. This is nice. It's consistent. So you're going to get, if you're doing a bunch, it may be worth it to do it that way. So just kind of take your time. It's just your choice on that, but it's great. And then when we come back in our next bit, we are going to go through and do our meringue topping, which is the only thing we have to really make from scratch.
All right, well, stick around. We'll be right back.
Bad Boy Mower.
48 Hours, today at 9, right here on Fox 14.
All right, well, we have been making lemon meringue cookie cups with Lori. She's just
Making
whipping up
noise.
her meringue right now.
I
so
am.
what is the last few steps that we need to do to make these delicious desserts?
Perfect. So our last step is making a little
Yes.
noise, but that's okay. We started out with a couple of egg whites.
Okay, yes.
And to that, we're really just adding some white sugar. Now, I like to add a little bit of cream of tartar to my meringue. It keeps it a little bit more solid and it doesn't
yes.
weep. So if you've ever made homemade meringue with fresh egg whites and it gets those little beads of moisture on it as it sets, that cream of tartar helps with that.
Does it like
So-
change the taste or anything,
No,
or does it just
it really
help?
doesn't.
Okay,
No,
wonderful.
it just gives it that little bit of stability. So we started with our egg whites, whipped them till they're a little bit foamy, little frothy looking, and then just slowly added in that sugar. So I'm gonna make a little bit more noise for a
Just
sec.
a little bit more.
Because now we have to get it to stiff peaks. We have to get it to where it'll hold its shape. And we're very close. And this
Oh,
is
it's
a
looking good.
small batch, so I don't know. Let's see if you guys can kind of
right
see
there.
that a little bit. Pretty typical. And the real test is just to pull that up still a little bit soft. So we'll keep going for just a sec.
There we go.
While we do that, I tell you what, I'll hand that off
Yes,
to you.
hand this to me.
This is super complicated.
Now,
Once
can you
we-
use a stand mixer for this as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, you can. The easiest way to get that onto our little cups once we're done is going to be to put that meringue into a piping bag.
Okay.
So all I've got here is a nice big plastic piping bag, and I put a little tip in the bottom. You'll see a little bit of the texture of that, but not a lot. So that's not a necessary item to add on there. Just depends on how fancy you want to get when it comes to that.
Absolutely.
So we should be pretty
Okay,
close
let
on
me
that.
pull it out here.
See?
So I don't
Oh, yeah.
explode. There we
nice.
go.
You guys can kind of see. It's probably
Kinda can
a little
see
too
on this
bright
right up
to
here,
really
too.
show that. You want to lay him on our
Yes.
container there so it's not too messy. We'll put a little bit of this into our piping bag because I want to make sure we have time to show you guys to brown that really quickly. So I'll put a little bit in here. All we are going to do is just make a really small little loop on here, but it's just the perfect amount.
Oh, that looks so good.
You know, if I'd known you had all that experience, I could have, planned better. It looks like, guys, we're going to have
a little sous chef over here.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. Are you available in the afternoons for time? Could always use that.
I'll take my payment in
Right.
cookies
Now,
and cakes, please.
This is the step this is the one thing you probably don't have at home. I have my little blowtorch because we are in Studio
Yes.
K. We can't just pop this in our oven. But we're going to light this guy up, hopefully. There he goes. And we're going to very, very slowly. Oh, he's going to be just about out of fuel here today. Got a little torch on there.
Ooh, I can already see that.
Yeah,
Just browning just a little bit at the top.
A little bit of browning at the top, a little bit of cooking. Now, if you're at home, you're going to pop this into the oven. And
Okay.
it's going to take seconds.
Do you bake it or broil it?
I think broiler is quicker
Okay.
and easier, so you'll want to raise that rack up
Yes.
a little bit closer to the top broiler in your oven and really let that go quickly. But it's going to be less than a minute, so you really want to pop those in there and then just stare at them. Get into that top of your oven and really watch so that you
they
can see
smell
them.
so good.
Yeah, you can just smell that meringue starting to brown and cook a little bit. You don't have to go overboard. They're perfect just like that.
They are
Let them
perfect.
cool. Good to go. Delicious.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lori, for being here
Absolutely.
today. And stick around. We'll have more news after this.
Right now, Food for Less has family pack
113010.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 724, almost 725 on this very windy Monday morning. Take a look. Our camera on the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin, really shaking around in that breeze. Look at the flags on City Hall really whipping out there. And take a look at the clouds as they continue to increase across the area. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line, again showing those cloudy skies out there. And it will be mostly cloudy and breezy for us throughout most of our day. South winds gusting still upwards of 35, in some cases potentially as high as 40 miles an hour. It won't be until the approaching cold front later this evening, and we're going to start to see these winds calm down a bit. And they'll still be a bit breezy on the backside of this front, but not nearly as much as what we've seen here lately. We still do have the possibility for some strong storms for some of us as we head into the late evening hours across the area. Now, the good news is this just updated about 15 minutes ago, and if you were watching earlier, no changes on this, which is good news for us. We've still got, though, that low wind risk for some strong, marginally severe hail and potentially some strong wind gusts out there, mainly southeast across the area, as we're expecting a line of showers and storms to develop almost right along the 69 corridor. Now, heading into this afternoon, we'll get a few peaks of sun here and there, but otherwise mostly cloudy skies. As we've mentioned, the long-range version of the future track updates every few hours, and this one hasn't updated yet with the latest short-term data, which is coinciding with what we're expecting this evening, which is a line of showers and storms stretching from this point, but all the way down south into Oklahoma, almost right along and immediately west of the 69 corridor. This line of storms is going to be very narrow. It won't be very big, so it'll be very brief as it rolls through. So anyone west of this point, you'll get the colder air, but you won't see any rainfall. The front will move through, and it'll push that line of storms, which again will be stretching off of what is showing up on the long-range future track here, and continue to move off to the east as we go through the evening hours with some of those stronger storms out there, and then we'll all get in on some cooler air. Our camera 7th and range line, those clouds really rolling in out there. 66, south breeze at 18, gusting to 30 out there, and of course mostly cloudy skies. There's another view of that frontal boundary out there chopping those temperatures off, but ahead of it right now, warm, breezy, all of us now low to mid 60s across the area. As we go through the morning, we're looking again mostly cloudy skies, breezy, 72 by 11 o'clock. Highs today upper 70s, maybe even a couple of low 80s out there, so we're warming up nicely this afternoon. Into this evening, again mainly along into the east of the 69 corridor. Could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Mild ahead of that front, then we'll cool back into the 40s overnight tonight once that front passes through. A little cooler the next few days, mid 60s through Thursday, upper 50s Friday. Another round of showers and thunderstorms Wednesday night, Thursday, and into Friday, so some much needed rainfall out there. Saturday, our coldest day at 50, and then we're back to warmer weather as we kick off the next work week. Let's check your forecast. We got another half hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Give your home the makeover it deserves.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:30. I'm Elise Noe. Kansas state lawmakers consider a bill that would provide $40 million to help combat homelessness at the local level. House Bill 2723 would create a new program under the state's Department for Aging and Disability Services. That program would provide grants to local governments to build or improve homeless shelters and services. The House Committee on Welfare Reform will hold a hearing on the bill on Tuesday. The Pittsburgh State University Choral Ensembles held its spring concert Sunday. The program included a variety of music from the PSU Choir, the Chorale, and the Tour Choir, and a special guest oboist and Nips Child. The choirs were directed by Professor Susan Marchant. The concert was free and open to the community. The Mirza Shriners in Pittsburgh Saturday held a family night out. It included inflatables, quarter pit, face painting, a giant Jenga, and a free lunch. Along with playing games, those in attendance were able to learn about the Mirza Shriners organization and the support they provide for area children in need.
An event like this, we get to be seen in the public. The Shriners, we do a tremendous amount of stuff. We've got 22 hospitals in North America, Mexico City up into Canada. We treat kids for free. The biggest problem is we don't publicize everything we do. So this gives us a chance to get out in the public and be seen with everything that we're doing. We help kids.
The organization has been serving families in Southeast Kansas for over 100 years. 4 state music lovers were able to add some new items to their collections at the 4 State Record Show. The Carthage Memorial Hall hosted the event. Attendees were able to visit vendors showing cassettes, CDs, equipment, memorabilia, and vinyls.
There's other people like you that care about music, that want to grow, the whole experience. If you like one band, you can go down the rabbit hole and find the bands that the other members were in, and there's just a lot of music out there.
The event offered various vinyls as door prizes throughout the day.
We've got ourselves a warm and windy day out there. This is a look at our camera at 7th and Range Line in Joplin. Just wanted to give you that perspective. Mostly cloudy skies out there, and they'll continue to push on through. Our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin, breezy. Again, cloudy out there. Same from the MoDOT camera at 32nd and Range Line. It will be mostly cloudy through the day, but we'll see a few peaks of sunshine here and there. There's that cold front. That's going to be bringing us some thunderstorm chances and some cooler temperatures as we head later into tonight. And those thunderstorm chances are really going to be confined from roughly the 69 corridor and points east out there. If you're west, it's going to cool down, but you probably won't see any rainfall. Right now, though, pretty mild for this time of day and this time of year. We're into the low to mid 60s and starting to see a lot more upper 60s across the region. Going through today, mostly cloudy, breezy, south winds gusting 35, maybe in upwards of 40 miles an hour. So even though there's no fire weather watches or red flag warnings or anything like that, you should absolutely still not be doing any outdoor burning today. Temperatures, though, very warm, upper 70s, maybe even a couple of low 80s across the area. We'll have another look at your forecast and those thunderstorm chances not only tonight, but for the rest of this week here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, over the weekend, Vice President Kamala Harris called on Hamas to accept a possible ceasefire and hostage deal, while demanding that Israel do more to allow humanitarian aid into Gaza. More than 30,000 Palestinians have died since the war began, according to the Gaza Health Ministry. The rising death toll comes as an Israeli government official will hold meetings in Washington this week. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York.
There must be an immediate ceasefire.
Strong words from Vice President Kamala Harris as she gets set to meet with Israeli War Cabinet member Benny Gantz in Washington today. The meeting comes as a U.S. official tells CBS News Israel has essentially endorsed a framework agreement that could include a 6-week pause in fighting and the release of some hostages.
There is a deal on the table. Hamas needs to agree to that deal.
Saturday, the U.S. airdropped about 38,000 meals into Gaza, though critics say it's not nearly enough to stave off starvation. The Biden administration says it's the first of many airdrops, and it has also called on Israel to do more to allow humanitarian assistance into Gaza.
They must work to restore basic services.
Israel defense officials said it had eliminated 100 militants from Gaza in an operation Sunday. After strikes in southern Gaza, rescuers called out the names of those believed to be trapped beneath the rubble. Also Sunday, IDF officials announced that their review found that the deaths of more than 100 Palestinians who had gathered to receive aid in Gaza City last week were mostly the result of a stampede, and that Israeli forces only fired warning shots in self-defense, though some Hamas-backed officials say the crowd was fired upon.
A U.S. official says the next airdrop of food into Gaza is expected to come on Wednesday. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A college student is biking his way across Oklahoma, and it's all for charity.
And we've got ourselves another warm and breezy day out there. Mostly cloudy skies as well. Rain later. We'll take a look at all that in just a moment. But first, got ourselves a live look from downtown Parsons. We'll be right back.
Oh, you are a gift. The season premiere of So You Think You Can Dance and MasterChef Junior tonight on Fox.
The 26th annual Grove Home and Garden Show will be taking place this weekend. Amanda Davis joins us to share what you can expect when attending this year's event. Welcome, Amanda. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, thank you.
And so if you just want to tell me a little bit about what the Home and Garden Show is in Grove.
So this is our 26th year to host the Home and Garden Show. It's just a fantastic event, great opportunity for people to come in. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Wow, that is so 3 days worth of events. And can you tell me what kind of vendors will be there? What kind of activities will be going on over the weekend?
Yeah, for sure. So we've got more than 40 vendors coming in, landscaping, gardening, you name it, a little bit of everything. So a great opportunity for folks to come in and get all the updated, things to do this year as spring approaches.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that we've been having spring-like temperatures, so I'm sure folks are eager to come out. And how many vendors are you going to be having there?
Yeah, so we've got more than 40. It's actually sold out this year, so we were able to get all those spaces. Somebody in all those spaces. So a lot of things happening around Grand Lake. So it will just be a beautiful weekend. And
oh, it sounds lovely. Sounds gorgeous. Well, if time history, 26 years this has been going on. Can you talk to me a little bit how it's been developed over the past few years?
So this is a great opportunity for the Grove Chamber to really be able to get people into town and help our members just to be able to get their, the things they do out to the community, out to visitors, really everybody around the 4-state area. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a weekend. We've got door prizes. We've got things going on the whole time. We've got different people coming in and out with specials and things they'll be doing.
Can you talk to me a little bit more about those specials and those vendors? Just a little bit more highlighting the businesses in the area.
Yeah, for sure. So we're it's just one of those neat things that you don't always get to go into everybody's business. So this is an opportunity that you don't have to necessarily be able to go in their brick and mortar store. You can actually come and kind of a one-stop shop, be able to see a lot of different things that they offer. So we're just super excited for the weekend.
Oh, absolutely. It's wonderful. Can you talk to me a little bit about cost and location and pricing and just things like that? So
absolutely. So Friday from 3 to 7, Saturday from 10 to 6, and then Sunday from 11 to 2. And it's actually in the old Whoops location. People that are familiar with the Grand Lake and Grove area, that is at 102 Lennell Drive. It's $5 admission. We'll be there to greet you as you come in. We'll have things in the Grove Chamber booth and a lot of things about upcoming events. We're getting ready for Bassmasters coming to the lake here in a few weeks. So we're super excited.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for being here with us today just to talk a little bit about the event. Again, it's the Grove Home and Gardens event going on this weekend. Thank you again, Amanda, and we'll be right back.
It's a beautiful morning, Scotty, and we have an early game today. That injured list is next. Big Bang.
Tonight at 6:30, right here on Fox 14.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:44 on this Monday morning. Live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex, downtown Joplin. Mostly cloudy skies and rather breezy out there. MoDOT camera 32nd in range line. You can see those clouds off to the west here, and you can see that traffic light shaking in the breeze as well as we continue to remain mostly cloudy and quite windy. Wind gusts could still push 35, potentially 40 miles an hour at times out of the south. No fire weather watches, no red flag warnings, but really still do not recommend any outdoor burning throughout today. Now, as we head into the evening, a cold front approaches, and that'll allow the winds to let up a bit. And even though they're still going to be a bit breezy heading into our Tuesday, they will be nothing like what we've seen the last few days. We do have the possibility of some strong to low-grade severe thunderstorms in the areas highlighted in brown here as we head late into this evening. And the bigger concerns are with any hail or winds, but we're not expecting anything significant, but could see some small hail and some gusty winds out there. Let's take a look down the road. We're going to see mostly cloudy skies, few peaks of sun as we head into the afternoon. Temperatures warming up nicely. And again, this will update probably between now and the noon with the latest long-range data, but we're expecting from this point a line of showers and thunderstorms almost right along the 69 corridor, maybe just a pinch to the west to develop late this evening by about 7, 8 o'clock. As the front rolls through, that line will continue and move off into the east, and that's where we could see again those stronger thunderstorms off to the southeast as the line matures and pushes off to the south and to the east. So west of 69, odds are you're not going to see any rain, but you will start to see those cooler temperatures as we head overnight. All of us will see some cooler temperatures later tonight. Our camera 7th in range line, some sunshine getting through, but otherwise, again, mostly cloudy. 66, south breeze at 18, gusting to 30. There's another view of that front off to our west where that temperature divide is. But ahead of it, quite nice, mid to upper 60s out there now for most of us, and still some low 60s. But either way you paint it, a very mild start to the morning. Heading through the morning, 72 by 11, mostly cloudy, breezy, and breezy is going to be the theme for us today. Still mostly cloudy out there. Highs today, upper upper 70s, maybe even a couple of low 80s for some of us out there. And again, ahead of that front, mild, falling back through the 60s. Scattered showers and thunderstorms mainly along into the east of 69. And then all of us getting a little cooler tonight as we fall back into the 40s. That will keep us a little cooler as we head through the rest of the week. Mid-60s heading into Thursday. Another round of showers and thunderstorms possible Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday. So some much needed rain in our future out there. Our coldest day Saturdays, we fall back to 50, but it is one day only as we start to turn around, warm back up, upper 60s, low 70s heading into next week. Let's check your forecast. Now we're going to send it over to Elise with Consumer Watch.
Well, 3 people who were aboard the Alaska Airlines plane forced to make an emergency landing after a door plug blew off mid-flight are suing the airline and Boeing for $1 billion. The legal action says the incident was caused by negligence and resulted in the plaintiff suffering severe mental, emotional, and psychological injuries. The lawsuit seeks both compensatory and punitive damages. Boeing is already being sued by its shareholders and is still under investigation by the NTSB and the FAA. As weight loss drugs sweep the nation, some gyms are providing their members the option to be prescribed the drugs right from the gym. Weight loss drugs have been making headlines for their ability to help people lose weight. Over 9 million prescriptions have been written in the U.S. alone, and now gyms are feeling the financial sting. To combat a lost membership revenue, some gyms are acquiring weight loss clinics featuring doctors who can prescribe weight loss drugs. Personal training programs are still available to help members stay on track during their fitness journey. And those are our top stories for Consumer Watch this morning. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Outpost Casino is celebrating the return
at the Route 66 Theater in downtown Webb City. For tickets and information, go to secondSundayCinema.com.
A Massachusetts University student is spending the next few weeks of his spring break in Oklahoma, but it's not to party or vacation.
Instead, it's for a bike journey for charity in an attempt to break a Guinness World Record. Todd has more on his mission.
I am in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma right now, and I'm about to start a ride.
Northeastern University PhD student and bike touring enthusiast Sam Westby is embarking on a bike ride of over 1,000 miles, which could set a world record. Not for the distance of the ride, but the shape of it.
To attempt a Guinness World Record for the largest GPS drawing on a bike by an individual.
This is the journey Sam is planning to take. Yes, it is the outline of a shoe, which is a clue about the other reason Sam is using his spring break for such an ambitious adventure.
This whole thing's a fundraiser at the same time.
Sam is partnering with the nonprofit organization Shoes That Fit to get new pairs of shoes and socks to children in the U.S. who need them.
I'm trying to raise enough money for 250 pairs of shoes and socks.
Sam's goal is to raise nearly $9,000. He'll be riding entirely inside Oklahoma, a state he chose because of its warmer weather and gridded roads, which make the ride safer and the drawing easier to accomplish.
Today's February 28th, day 0, day 1 of the trip, and then I expect it to take about 14 days.
Certainly an impressive journey, and we have some impressive winds once again across the area today. South winds will be gusting upwards of 35, potentially 40 miles an hour ahead of a cold front that's going to roll through. So this is about where that frontal boundary is as we head into later this evening across the area. So winds shifting out of the north back behind that. The good news is, even though we'll still see some occasional breezy points out here, up to maybe 20 miles an hour, winds are going to be a lot calmer for us. We do have that potential for some strong, low-grade severe thunderstorms for some of us as we head into the evening, with hail and wind being the primary concern with the areas highlighted in brown. We're looking at about a line of showers and storms that's expected to develop right along or immediately west of the 69 corridor late this evening, and it'll eventually push off to the south and east across the area. All of us getting in on some cooler temperatures tonight as well. We're going to have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Aboard the U.S. Des Moines maiden voyage, we are proud to salute Merrill Reeves, a four-state hero.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. First responders in Webb City, Missouri evacuated a neighborhood Saturday night because of a fast-moving grass fire. Fire crews responded to the Robin Ridge neighborhood around 11 p.m. as the fire was near Gene Hadfield Drive. No one was injured, and authorities are investigating the cause of the fire. Kansas state lawmakers are considering a bill that would provide $40 million to help combat homelessness at the local level. House Bill 2723 would create a new program under the state's Department for Aging and Disability Services. That program would provide grants to local governments to build or improve homeless shelters and services. The House Committee on Welfare Reform will hold a hearing on the bill on Tuesday.
And we've got ourselves another warm and breezy day, upper 70s, maybe some low 80s, mostly cloudy, south winds gusting upwards of 35, potentially 40 miles an hour out there. Into the evening, some of us, mainly along into the east of the 69 corridor, could see a few scattered showers and thunderstorms. We could see a couple of stronger storms with some small hail and gusty winds as a cold front rolls through. All of us getting a little cooler tonight, back into the 40s. As we look ahead, we are going to be a little bit cooler, but not bad. Mid-60s through Thursday, upper 50s Friday. More thunderstorm chances late Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday, so we are getting some much-needed rain out there. Coldest day of the week so far is Saturday at 50, and then we warm back up by next week, though, back into the upper 60s and low 70s.
Well, cars came to a stop as a pair of horses ran down a highway in Cleveland, Ohio over the weekend. The footage was released by the Ohio Department of Transportation and shows the horses on Interstate 90. The pair had escaped from Cleveland Police's stables, a local media reported, citing officials. The horses were caught eventually, according to the local media report. Regarding the chase itself, ODOT wrote on Facebook, "Any injuries? Nay." I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know about that.
Hey, you know, they got to have some fun, though, right? On occasion.
I mean, do they? I don't know. Maybe.
sometimes it's best if they don't try and have fun, but that's all right. Hey, but I guess the good news is nobody was injured. Horses weren't injured.
Nay.
Hey, I'm sure that was an exciting thing to see. Just some horses wandering down the highway. Not your typical commute.
Hope they had a good time.
I'm sure they did. And I hope you had a great time with us. We want to thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great morning and have a great rest of your day.